Welcome to the 38th edition of Paris International Film Festival. It's Kamyar Mosonin, International Relations Manager and Programming Director of the festival. Today, in the framework of the master classes of Paris International Film Festival, we have the pleasure to host Mr. Karen Nazarf, a very great director, a very great friend, and supporter of our festival all through these years. Actually, in 2005, we had the honor to invite Mr. Nazarf as a member of the international jury in the festival, and it was our first meeting then. And then during the years, Mr. Nazarf, as director of Moose Film, has been very kind and supportive toward the festival. And in different years, we have had some restored films, restored classic films from Moose Film, and it has been very welcomed by the audience of the festival and the members of the Fifth Club. During these years, we had the pleasure to present two of Mr. Nazarf's films, Assassin of Cesar and also A Rider Named Death, which were two of the favorite films by so many Iranian film critics and cinephiles during the festival in the last 4 years. Welcome to our Q&A session, Mr. Nazarf. It's very good to have you here.
Thank you very much, and I'm very proud to be with you, and it's a great honor for me. I also want to say that I participated like in competition in Tehran. It was I think 2009.
2009.
Yes, 2009 with my film by the novel of Chekhov, Word Number 6.
Yes.
And meanwhile, I got two prizes. I got the main prize and the prize for the best actor. So I'm very proud that I have these prizes from Tehran Film Festival.
Yes, for the film Ward Number 6, based on a Chekhov story.
Yeah.
You know, we had the pleasure to have the film here presented, and also it was awarded by the international jury, the main section of the festival. And during these years, I guess that there are so many Iranian cinephiles acquainted with your works, and you know, you are, as I said before, you are a favorite at the moment between some Iranian film critics, some famous Iranian film critics, and also the Iranian cinephiles here. Mr. Nazarf, let's begin from the very first steps, you know. Before entering Vejek, the film school, was there any connection between you and cinema? Any special interest? What was your ambition, you know, to come towards cinema?
Oh no, I hadn't any special ties with cinema, except that I was a spectator. I was a fan of cinema, like all young people in Soviet Union. It was in Soviet Union, and so the cinema was very popular. It was our main fun to go to theaters. The tickets was very cheap, and we saw all films which was released in Soviet Union, absolutely all. I remember that we simply like to go to cinema, and so I was a fan of cinema, like all my friends, and this was only this was the main reason why I decided to go to cinema. I think that, frankly to say, surely when you come to cinema, people or critics ask what is your message, what do you want to what message do you want to give for people. So we invented some reasons, very, very clever. But frankly to say, when you're a young boy and a young man, surely cinema, first of all, attract you with this, you see, a lot of beautiful actresses. I don't know. It's something like holidays. We think that the life in cinema is some the whole праздник.
Holiday.
Yeah, yes, holiday. It's like
It's like
holiday all your life will be the holidays. It's I think the real reason which young people go to cinema. The other thing that you already inside you understand that it's not holiday at all, and it's a lot of, it's very tough life inside of profession, and but you understand this during years, and but from the other side, this first emotion about cinema, that cinema is holidays, cinema is something very exciting. It's until now in my heart, though I understand that this life is very tough in general.
Yeah, everywhere, there are some references that's in Vizhik. You studied in the classes of Igor Talankin,
Yeah,
the great Russian filmmaker, best known for his Tchaikovsky, which was nominated for Oscar in the foreign language film category, and also known for the Splendid Days, the film which won Karlovy Vary. And it's so strange, when studying Russian cinema history, there are so many unbelievable points, because for example, Talankin was a very inspiring director, but after making Starfall in 1981, as I remember, then there was nothing until his death in 2010, something like that, as I remember again. For a very long time, a very promising, a very inspirational filmmaker in Russia didn't do anything, didn't make any film, which, I don't know if he made something inside Russia, or, there was nothing after 1981.
look, he made some films, but these films was, I think that his last film was in 1998. It was his last film which he shot. But yes, his films hadn't any success, and yes, it can be said he was forgotten, and then yes, and yes, last 10 years before death, he didn't made any film at all. But he was really a great filmmaker, and I'm very grateful to him, because I really teach a lot from him. He was a great master, and he made some films, outstanding films in his life. And frankly to say, you see, to make a good film is it's very difficult. And if you see the biography of all famous film directors, then you can say to yourself, look, in general, it's one or two films which stay in eternity, yes, which is really really outstanding, and it's a lot to make one or two or if 3 films. It's very good, and because in general, to make really good film which can survive for years, because only time is the judge for the film. And if you see the film which was made 40 years, 50 years ago, and say, oh, look, this is great film, this is a really great film. But it's very seldom, Darietka. It's very seldom. It's very seldom even for great masters. That's why I think that Igor Talankin made his
Contribution.
Yes, he made his contribution to the Soviet and Russian film industry with his at least 2 films, for my opinion.
And you know, when thinking of Talankin and his films, you know, he's somehow distanced from the thing we can call, you know, that kind of realism in Russian cinema. And, you know, he used the actors in another way, in a very effective way. For example, when saying Innocenti Smoktunovsky as Tchaikovsky in Talankin's film, you can see that, you know, there are a lot of spaces given to this actor to do a very wonderful thing on the screen, you know, a bravura performance, and you know, with so many subtleties in the performance, and you know, the mimic of the face and everything is so inspiring, even now when you're watching Talankin's film. Again, in Talankin's film, you know, you can see how the production design becomes a very important factor in the film, in the Russian films. Yeah. And fortunately, in your films, we can see, you know, both these traces in working with the actors and, you know, using the production design as very decisive factors in making your films. It's, I think, a very great thing when you're watching your films and you're enjoying them.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I think it's the main characters of the Soviet cinema. The work with actors and they imagine the picture. The picture is very important. I think that the most important thing which was invented in Russian cinema at all, it was the image. It was cinema of images. It began from Eisenstein, from Pudovkin, Kuleshov. That's right. Yes.
Yes, Pudovkin.
And it's go through the films of Tarkovsky, of Kulizhanov. This is I think that maybe for instance, American cinema is very strong in stories. They have great stories. They can do stories. Russian cinema, the stories is not our best thing in our cinema, but images. What bring Russian filmmakers in the world cinema, and in this way, I can. This is something common to Iranian cinema, because I think Iranian cinema is very strong in images. The best Iranian film directors, they created fantastic images, and I think this is the part of surely the national soul and from the other, I think it's maybe the something close to the Russian cinema. And surely I'm the part of this school. For my opinion, to be director is first of all to choose correctly actors. If you choose the actor, I say you can say that you make the film. If you don't choose the correct actor for your film, you lose the film, and it's the main thing in making. And for my opinion, what does it mean to be a good director? That means to choose good actors. That's it. If you want, that's it. The second thing, if you can, using these actors, create some images. Some image, правильно, образ, да? Something which say people, public, more than simply shot. You understand? Yes. Mm-hmm. You see something on the screen which made you, which born some feelings in you, which is more than what you see in the screen. This is images, and this is, for my opinion, the main and the most strong sides of classic Russian cinema. I say that, for instance, stories is not our strong side. It was all the way the problem of stories in Russian cinema and Soviet cinema, even in the best. But images is fantastic. That's so. Every cinema have strong or weak sides.
I remember that Louis Buñuel once said that, it is so hard for European filmmakers to tell stories like the Americans do, because of the complexities of the literary works in their countries, the history of literature in their countries. It's the complicated works they have, the expectations they have, when they are reading a book, and it is something unusual, but the cinema is not made with the stories in the first place. Going back to the Soviet Union days, the Soviet cinema, I think that the very first and the very important reason for accepting the film as an art form is, the works that theoreticians like Sergei Eisenstein, Kuleshov, Podovkin, they did, all these great works. And, there was something really unusual, they talked about something, that's no other art form, art medium could convey it, to the audience, you can forget all about time, all about the location, and then, with a theme, with a concept, you can, join different images to each other and create a work of art. That solidarity goes away, and it is, the first thing to, accept the cinema as an art form, as an independent art form. Because before, Kuleshov and Eisenstein and Podovkin and, the great names in Russian classic cinema, there were so many art critics criticizing cinema as a collage of the other arts, nothing special comes through cinema. And the theory of montage.
Oh, yes, you are true.
Yes,
you are
made, the grounds for cinema to become an independent art form.
Yes, I think you're absolutely true. I think that these great Russian filmmakers like Eisenstein and Kuleshov, Davzhenko, they
Yes.
they make cinema like an art, because before that, cinema was I can say it was theater which was shoot on the stock.
Yeah.
And they make they say no, cinema is special art which have its own possibilities to touch hearts of people. And they invented editing, montage. They invented this. This is in Bronenосец Potemkin and Kuleshov. They made first the cinema like a special and independent art. This is, I think, this is contribution of Russian filmmakers in the world cinema, and it's very important. Yes, I can say usually this in American cinema maybe the most close to this come Griffith. Griffith already also tried to create cinema like cinema, but for my opinion, Eisenstein was the principal figure in this.
You know, talking about rhythm of the images, I want to indicate a very impressive tracking shot in the beginning, in the opening of Anna Karenina, your work. You know, there is a tracking shot, you know, searching for the time and place, going through all the corridors of geography and history and races, and, you know, making the ground to begin a very impressive adaptation of a very big literary work.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
May I ask you to describe how, you know, this miracle took place? Because it looks like, you know, it looks like a miracle indeed, this tracking shot. It's really unusual.
You mean the tracking shot? You mean where the army Kazakhs move along
Yes,
the
the beginning
road?
of the film.
You
Yeah.
know, the camera moves
Yes.
all through the places without any cuts, and, you know, it's really interesting. You know, it's something really unusual, and, you know, when thinking of the decoupage of this sense, you know, one becomes dazzled. How is it
Yes,
possible to do such a
I
thing?
understand. You see, for my opinion, as what how I look on my profession, what does it mean to be direct? What does it mean to direct? That means that you must create world. In something, it's very such a very big idea and very, how to say, brave idea. You're a little bit like a god. You see that you make your world. You create your world, absolutely your world. And when you I think for me, the most interesting is to create the world in which I can, for instance, I'm usually I see the camera only in one direction, yes, but I want to make the scene, the world, when the camera goes everywhere at once, and you see this world which I create for you. And was the idea of the first scene in Anna Karenina, that we make this camera goes through a long everywhere, turning and it's turned to the right, and this is part of the world. It's turned to the left, it's turned back, and the world it exists. For my opinion, is for me it's interesting to make, and this, for my opinion, the level of our profession is how we manage to create this world and to make the spectator, to make the audience be sure that the world is everywhere, that the people inside of this world, inside, and forget that it's simply illusion. It's not exist. but people must believe that yes, it's everywhere. This everywhere, the world which create this director for them.
Let's go back to the very first moments again. You know, you worked as assistant to Talankian, and then you made a short film.
Yeah.
I suppose that the very first short film was based on a story by Vasily Shukshin, yeah?
Yes, it was diploma, my diploma work.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the diploma, because I work with Igor Talankin like assistants almost for 2 years on his film, which is called, I don't know if I can say it in English, but it's not very famous. It was the film about Igor Kurchatov. This was the creator of atomic bomb, Soviet atomic bomb. And in this, Igor Kurchatov was performed by Sergei Bondarchuk, meanwhile. And so I work like assistant, and usually my my duty was to bring Bondarchuk to the shooting place and to bring him back. So
hello everybody.
I usually come to his house and bring him to the car and go with him to the shooting place. And after this, yes, I make this short film by Vasily Shukshin. Vasily Shukshin is famous Soviet Russian writer, actor, and director. And I made the short film by one of his novels. And this was my diploma. This was my diploma in Film Institute. Then I graduated, закончил. Yes, that's it. It's what a long time ago.
I think you have your interpreter joining you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Then,
hello everybody.
خب درباره فیلم کوتاه اول آقای شاه نظرف داشتیم حرف می‌زدیم که اقتباسی بود، فیلم پایان‌نامه دانشجوییشون در اقتباسی بود از کتابی از داستانی از واسیلی شوکشین. وقتی وارد عرصه فیلمسازی بلند میشن آقای شاه نظرف سال 1963 با فیلم ما همه از جاز هستیم، We are all from jazz، یک مضمونی رو انتخاب میکنن که شاید برای دهه 60 میلادی در سینمای اتحاد جماهیر شوروی مضمون غریبی داره و تا حد زیادی میتونه جنجالی هم محسوب بشه. با یک شوخ طبعی خیلی خاص حرکت میکنن به طرف یک مضمون. میخواین تا اینجا رو ترجمه کنین بعد من ادامه بدم؟ در واقع این نگاه که به موسیقی جاز به عنوان یک محصول کاپیتالیستی نگاه میشه و اجازه ندارن که جوانهای یک دوره خاص تاریخی از یک همچین موسیقی لذت ببرن. نوع نگاه آقای شاه نظرف به این پدیده باعث میشه یکی از فیلم‌هایی به شکل بگیره و ساخته بشه که بسیار موفق میشه در زمان خودش. پرفروشترین فیلم اون سال سینمای روسیه میشه و در بسیاری از نظرخواهی‌ها فیلم محبوب تماشاگران اتحاد جماهیر شوروی نام میگیره. درباره این فیلم خاص و این مضمون خاص، مضمونی که خیلی عجیب پرداختنش در اون دوره زمانی، میخواستم اگر ممکن باشه توضیحاتی برای ما بدن.
Ну, вы знаете, я думаю, что это несколько преувеличенная так сказать, мнение, что в СССР был джаз запрещен. Это, я думаю, пришло к нам из западных стран, которые, так сказать, в общем, находились в такой состоянии холодной войны с СССР. Ну, в СССР не был джаз запрещен. Джаз, конечно, не очень приветствовался официально. И, конечно, к джазу относились не очень хорошо на официальном уровне. Но при этом у нас были джазовые коллективы, у нас были джазовые музыканты. И, в общем, когда я стал делать этот фильм, никто мне не запрещал делать его. Но действительно это было что-то новое для вообще советского кино в то время, поэтому, наверное, этот фильм, так сказать, действительно имел довольно большой успех. Но я, в принципе, делал этот фильм просто потому, что мне нравился джаз, а не потому, что я хотел доказать, так сказать, что-то там кому-то, что... То есть у меня не было никаких политических мыслей в связи с этим. Просто мне нравилась эта музыка, и я хотел сделать веселый фильм о джазовых музыкантах. И, в принципе, он довольно хорошо прошел.
ده. ببینید میفرمایند که در رابطه با فیلم ما از جاز هستیم یه مطلبی هم اینجا متذکر بشن که در واقع به اون نحو نبوده که اصلا جازی وجود نداشته باشه تو روسیه، فقط در این حد بوده که در واقع شناخته شده به اون و رسمیت نداشته بین مردم، وگرنه روسیه در اون زمان هم در واقع موزیسین های جاز خودش رو هم داشته. و حالا وقتی که من شروع کردم، مثلا علت این که اومدم این فیلم رو ساختم، در واقع علاقه‌مندی من به موسیقی جاز بود. حالا با اینکه میگم تو اون موقع، تو اون دوره جاز هم زیاد در بین مردم شناخته شده نبود، اون حرف نوع من، اون نگاه نوعی که از موسیقی جاز اومدم به نمایش گذاشتم تونست موفقیت خودش رو تو اون دوره کسب کنه.
نکته‌ای که به نظرم میرسه درباره فیلم میتونیم حرف بزنیم و خیلی جذابه اینه که از یک سری ترک های خیلی قدیمی موسیقی جاز توی روسیه استفاده میشه توی فیلم که به نحو شگفت انگیزی هنوز هم هیجان انگیز به گوش میان و بسیار الهام بخش هستن برای کسی که فیلم رو داره نگاه میکنه.
ممنون بخواد. خیلی خوشحال هستم، ممنون بابت این نظرتون.
خدمت شما عرض شود که وقتی شروع کردیم به حرف زدن درباره در واقع 2 تا اقتباس صحبت کردیم در کارهای آقای شاه نظرف. یکی اقتباسشون از شوکشین بود، وسیلی شوکشین بود در فیلم پایان‌نامه دانشجوییشون، یکی هم در همین اواخر اقتباسشون از تولستوی بود. خب وقتی به سینمای روسیه نگاه میکنیم، به سینمای اتحاد جماهیر شوروی نگاه میکنیم، طبعا با توجه به وجود منابع بسیار شگرف و بزرگ ادبی همیشه این امکان وجود داره که کارگردان ها به سمت اقتباس های روسی حرکت بکنن و حتی مثلا توی کارهای تالانکین که باز حرفش رو میزدیم، مثلا یکی از آثار تالانکین که اینجا خیلی زیاد توی ایران دیده شد و مورد توجه قرار گرفت، اقتباس تالانکین بود از کتاب بابا سرگئی، فادر سرگیوس، که سرگئی باندارچوک این نقش رو بازی میکرد. آقای شاه نظرف تا به حال درباره اقتباس از کدوم نویسنده های روس فکر کردن و چه فضاهایی به ذهنشون متبادر شده؟ آنا کارنینایی که ما میبینیم اصولا یک اقتباس بسیار متفاوت از این اثر هست و یک یک چیز دیگه فراتر از اون رابطه عاشقانه رو به ما نشون میده. انگار یک جستجو به دنبال هویت روسی هست که از اون نمای تغییری آغازین شروع میشه و تا به انتها ادامه پیدا میکنه. خوشحال میشیم که درباره این پیوستگی ادبیات روس و سینمای روس در کل و به خصوص در آثار خودشون، در تفکرات خودشون یک توضیحاتی بدن و ممنون میشیم ازشون. ببینید
Дело все в том, чтобы для того, чтобы вообще понять и Россию, и русскую культуру, надо понимать, что литература есть наше основное, как говорится, основное искусство – это литература. Это самое важное, что для русского человека вообще существует. Русская литература оказала огромное влияние вообще на формирование нашего сознания. Она, я думаю, нечто большее, чем литература в России. В России литература – это и история, и философия, Достоевский. Фактически вся русская философия, она пришла из литературы. Русская история – это эпос. Русский эпос создал фактически Пушкин. Поэтому вообще литература имеет огромное влияние на все виды искусства в России. И, конечно, на кино в первую очередь. Мы черпаем, мы выросли на литературе. Для нас литература – это источник всего, всех идей, всех образов. Поэтому это, конечно, очень важная часть нашей вообще жизни, вообще русской жизни и, в частности, кинематографа.
بله، سوال بسیار خوبی پرسیدین. در واقع ادبیات، اینو خدمتتون عرض کنم که فرهنگ روسیه رو اگه بخوایم بشناسیم باید ادبیاتش رو ببینیم. اصلی ترین در واقع هنری که میشه گفت توی روسیه همون ادبیات این کشور هست. چرا که از بچگی ما با ادبیاتمون بزرگ شدیم و ادبیات تأثیر خیلی بزرگی روی تصورات ما داشته، روی ایده های ما داشته. حتی میتونم بگم این هنر، یعنی ادبیات، چیزی فراتر و بیشتر از خودش هست. به این کلمه ادبیات در واقع منتهی نمیشه. فلسفه هست روش. میتونم بگم که حتی ما از ادبیات به فلسفه داریم میرسیم. همونجوری که میدونین کلا نظم ادبیات روسیه با پوشکین شکل گرفته و ما این رو در واقع با این ادبیات، با این دوره، با این نظم بزرگ شدیم و میتونم بگم منبع عظیمی از تمامی ایده های ما، تفکرات ما و در واقع یک شخص روس و زندگیش وابسته به ادبیات هست و همین اگر یک شخص روس تاثیرپذیر از ادبیات هست، قطعاً ما این تاثیر رو روی سینماگرهای روسیه هم میبینیم.
به نحو جالبی حالا الان بحث هویت روسی و پوشکین پیش اومد. در یکی از فیلم‌های آقای شاه نظرف به اسم روز شب 14 فول مون دی، به نوعی وقتی در بین این شخصیت‌های متنوع فیلم در یک روایتی که انگار روایت هایپرلینک هست، ما یک لینک رو انگار در واقع حس می‌کنیم و از یک روایت به یک روایت دیگه منتقل میشیم و یک شخصیت شاعر در اون فیلم وجود داره که به نوعی همین بازنمایی پوشکینی هویت روسی رو داریم می‌بینیم توی فیلم. این فیلم از اون فیلم‌هایی که متاسفانه در دنیا خیلی زیاد دیده نشده. خیلی ممنون میشم درباره این فیلم و نوع بازنمایی هویت روسی در این فیلم برامون یک توضیحی بدن. خیلی واقعا ممنون میشم.
Да, фильм «День полнолуния». Я бы сказал так, что если вы меня хотели бы спросить, что такое жизнь, в моем понимании, я бы сказал, вот в моем понимании, это вот посмотрите «День полнолуния», это вот жизнь, вот как я ее представляю. Вот как я вижу жизнь вот такой, как я показал вне полнолуния. Жизнь, которая состоит из обрывков воспоминаний, встреч, порой непонятных зачем, смыслов. Но это и есть жизнь. Поэтому для меня это, если хотите, фильм, в котором я выразил свое понимание жизни.
А как вы думаете, почему по миру не так известный?
Да, в том смысле, что он не так популярен. Ну, вообще он был довольно
Да,
популярен. Он был довольно такой фестивальный фильм, много фестивалей, призов у него было. Но понятно, что я, когда его делал, я понимал, что эта картина не будет очень зрительской, потому что в ней нет прямого сюжета. Зритель любит, когда есть сюжет, когда есть история. В этом фильме он состоит из десятков маленьких сцен, и понятно, что для широкого зрителя это не очень интересно. Но я говорю, для меня это был эксперимент, я пытался выразить свое ощущение от жизни. Мне было уже тогда 45 лет, и я вот хотел представить, как я понимаю жизнь. Я понимал, что он будет не очень популярен, но, строго говоря, это не имеет значения. Бывает, что ты делаешь фильмы просто для того, чтобы выразить какое-то свое чувство. Вот я пытался этим выразить чувство. Кому-то он нравится, кто-то его смотрит, мне это достаточно. Все равно это в интернете, это сотни тысяч людей, и это хорошо.
да. بله، در رابطه با این فیلم میگن که ببینید این فیلم رو من وقتی ساختم 45 سالم بود. فقط توی این فیلم خواستم درک خودم رو از زندگی به نمایش بذارم. زندگی در واقع همین ملاقات‌های متفاوت، همین تفکرات متفاوت هست و فقط این فیلم درک من هست از زندگی. اگر به من بگن که درکت رو از زندگی تعریف کن، من این فیلم رو پیشنهاد میکنم، چون اون چیزی که از زندگی من میبینم و به نمایش گذاشتم. درسته این فیلم توی دنیا در واقع اونقدر شناخته شده نشد و میتونم بگم این چندان اهمیتی نداره برای من، چون این فیلم یه فیلم فستیوالی بود و مخاطب عام نداشت. در واقع میتونم بگم مخاطب خاص خودش رو داره. مثلا 100,000 بازدید برای این فیلم توی اینترنت برای من کافیه. بعضی موقع همیشه آدم فیلم نمیسازه که بخواد اونقدر شهرت پیدا کنه یا دیده بشه فیلمش. فیلم رو میسازه که گاهی سینماگر فیلم رو میسازه که در واقع حس خودش رو به نمایش بذاره.
خب یکی از فیلم های آقای شاه نظرف که ما افتخار این رو داشتیم که در جشنواره فجر به نمایش در بیاریم، البته با حمایت مسفین و خیلی مورد نظر قرار گرفت اینجا، ترور تزار هست. فیلم ترور تزار یک موضوع بسیار حساس رو در یک مقطع بسیار حساس دنبال میکنه. یعنی داریم درباره فیلمی حرف میزنیم که در فاصله کوتاهی بعد از فرو ریختن دیوار برلین ساخته شده و درباره یک سری توهمات حرف میزنه. ممنون میشم که درباره مرز واقعیت و توهم بعد از فرو ریختن دیوار برلین و ارتباطش با این فیلم اگر توضیحی برامون داشته باشن خیلی ممنون میشم.
Ну, вы знаете, действительно, у этого фильма такая странная судьба, потому что, ну, вы знаете, эта тема была в советское время полностью закрыта. То есть вообще нельзя было на эту тему не то что фильмов делать, даже говорить на эту тему никак нельзя было. И это странным образом, это вообще оказался, вообще можно сказать, последний фильм советского кино. Потому что он вышел в прокат, я вам скажу, он вышел в прокат в ноябре 91 года. А в декабре 91 года, так сказать, Советский Союз был, как говорится, упразднен. Поэтому получается, что это, в общем, был вообще, можно сказать, последний фильм советского кино. И это действительно такая странная история и достаточно символичная. Не знаю, что за этим стоит, но очевидно, что, как говорится, что-то в этом мистическое есть, как и в самой истории этого расстрела, который, конечно, является одним из самых драматичных моментов нашей истории.
بله، موضوع این فیلم رو خدمتتون عرض کنم. موضوع این فیلم بسیار موضوع عجیبی هست. میتونم بگم که تو اون دوره که این فیلم در واقع ساخته شد، در خصوص موضوع فیلم نه تنها نمیشد فیلم ساخت، حتی نمیشد گفتگو کرد، در موردش حرف زد. و این مثلا خدمتتون عرض کنم که میتونم بگم این فیلم آخرین فیلم های دوره شورویه، چرا که نمایش این فیلم نوامبر اتفاق افتاد سال 1992 و این فروپاشی که اتفاق افتاد 1 ماه بعد شکل گرفت. به خاطر همین میتونم بگم این از آخرین آثار فیلم سینمای شوروی هست. یه جور میشه گفت تبدیل به یه سمبل شده، یعنی تبدیل به یه سمبل شد. نمیدونم واقعا پشتش چه داستانی هست، پشت این اتفاقی که در واقع افتاد چه داستانی هست، به همین لحاظ عجیب هست. ولی خب فیلم در واقع بخش‌های دراماتیک به تاریخ ما رو به نحوی به نمایش میذاره.
درباره یک موضوعی هم که قبلا حرف زدیم، فکر میکنم درباره این فیلم به شکل خیلی برجسته بتونیم حرف بزنیم. انتخاب بازیگر و نوع کار با بازیگر فکر میکنم خیلی جذاب باشه اگر لطف کنن و درباره نوع انتخاب بازیگر و نوع کار با بازیگر در این فیلم توضیح بدن برامون.
I can speak this in English.
Okay.
It will be quickly. Oleg Krinkovsky, which was the main character of the film, he was famous Russian actor. In Mirror of Tarkovsky, he was very popular Russian actor. And when we wrote the script from the beginning, we wrote the script, and in our imagine was his face. When you write the script, you must imagine somebody, some actor, some face. Sometimes it may be dead actor. It doesn't matter. Then you in the film you begin to try to find the actor you need. But in this case, when we wrote the script, we have the face of Oleg Yankovsky. So when we finished the script, and meanwhile, Oleg Yankovsky didn't know about this. And one day, I was sitting in a restaurant in Dom Kino, this famous Russian restaurant for filmmakers, was in Soviet Union. And suddenly he came to my table and said, "Look, I heard that you begin the film about Nicholas II. I wanted to be the Nicholas II in my dream." And so this was the decision. I said, okay, okay, that's it. What is about Malcolm McDowell? This was, frankly to say, such a surrealistic story, because we have, when we wrote the script, we have the face of Malcolm McDowell. Malcolm McDowell in those times was one of the most famous British American actors in the world. You remember after Caligula, after Clockwork Orange, I think he was in in 5 or even 3 the most famous actors in the world, American actors, and surely I haven't even any hope to have him in the film. So I began to choose Russian actors for this part. But suddenly it was already the time of perestroika, and so in Soviet cinema was much more freedom. And suddenly one British businessman, he got acquainted with me, and he said, I heard that you make such film about Nicholas II and this story about his death. I wanted to invest. I want in this film. I want to be in producers. No, I said I didn't need anything, frankly to say. I have already budget, so I say him, okay, if you want, then if you can, give me Malcolm McDowell. First he said, oh no, that's impossible. No, I can't do this. Okay, I said, no, that's okay, thank you, bye-bye. Then after this, in a month, I think, or even early, in 2 weeks, he called me and say, you know, I got connection with the agent of Malcolm in London, and he's interested. He's interested in this project, very interested. But you need to go to Geneva. He's shooting there in some film, and to get with him some conversation. So I went to Geneva, and we meet with Malcolm. First of all, he said me, do you have the script in English? I haven't. I hadn't. And I say, no, okay, tell me. I begin to tell him with my not very good English. The script is very complicated. It's psychological, but I began to 40 minutes. Something said to me. He said, "Okay, when the script will be ready, you bring it to me." The most strange in this story that this meeting was, I think it's about March. But in August, he already was shooting in my film in Russia. It's unbelievable. With such stuff, it's impossible. And we became friends with him. And once he said, remembering this our first meeting, he said to me, you know that in those times, I didn't understand anything you say. Anything. Your English was awful. I didn't understand, but I was absolutely sure that I'll be shooting in this film. It's a strange story, but this was the same with me. After this meeting, I was go back in Moscow. I was absolutely sure that McDowell will be in my film. So it's very strange story, and it's strange because what? Because such big stars. They have, you see, they have all plans already scheduled for years, and yes. he in 4 months he come to Russia and began to shoot, and I know you know that all this about how to say salary, money which he got, I didn't know exactly, but I know that because of this film, he agreed on very small budget for himself because he wanted to be in this film, and I'm very grateful for him for this, and I think he is excellent in this film. And meanwhile, in all retrospectives which he had, he asked to bring this film to his retrospective. Meanwhile, I made two versions, English version and Russian version. It's film which exists in two versions, and I consider that these two different films because I shoot twice. I shoot twice, and actors speak in English and speak in Russian, except Malcolm said no. I will speak in English in both versions, but Russian actors, they spoke their roles in British, in English version, in English language. we surely revoiced them with British actors after the film because they have accent, but the lips was with English language. So the film, the story of this film was very interesting. And the other thing which I remember, it was the last year of existence of Soviet Union, and it was a very difficult situation in country, very difficult. It was very difficult to shoot because it was a lot of problems. Money doesn't work at all. You see inflation, and so I remember it was such. And I already said that this film was released in Soviet Union in November, and in December the Soviet Union finished its.
Thank you for accepting our invitation. It was an honor to be with you today, and take good care of yourself, Karen. We are waiting to see you here in the next edition of Patch.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.